We're gonna go with a doo-doo charger, and this is here. Oh, we go like this. And all that. This time, I won't cut towards my thumb, as I cut towards my thumb. Welcome back to Mark. Are you sure you know what you're doing? The answer is no.
I have an IQ of 48.
But we're gonna try it anyways. And the route we're going is portable solar. We have this nice little portable panel, 100-watt panel. Let me show you my thought process here and kind of some things that changed along the way as I was figuring this out. So, one thing that we wanted to do is obviously we want to be able to charge the batteries with solar. We currently don't have that ability, but basically we have 2 lithium batteries in here, and the only way this gets charged is with a Renogy 20 amp charger, and it works. It works fine. The problem comes if we're camping in an area for more than a day. We don't have a way to charge the system. It only charges when we drive, and 20 amps is kind of low for a 200 amp hour bank. What I initially thought is that we would install this Renogy Wanderer 30 amp PWM charger, this guy right here. And I thought, hey, we can be cheap. We can grab one of these for like $27. I can just wire up the panel to it, and you know, then we'll be good. However, this is where the issue started for me. I don't really have space. Even if I cleared up the wiring, I could mount it upside down like this. I guess you're not supposed to do that. Or I could have, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of room in here. This is a tight area. So instead of going this route, we decided to go a little wild, and we're gonna upgrade the whole system. We're gonna pull out the 20 amp Renogy DC-DC charger, and we're gonna go with one of these. I think this is a Rododo. I don't know. Rodoodoo. Doo-doo. We're gonna go with a doo-doo charger.
Learn to read with Hooked on Phonics, the musical reading program.
And basically what this is going to allow us to do, it's going to allow us to take an alternator input, a solar input, and charge the battery system from either. Long story short, this is going to simplify it. It does have some cool features we'll go over once we get into it. But it's going to simplify the system. It's actually smaller, kind of just less messing around. And also, we can use these connectors to do a thing, I suppose. The other thing we're going to put in is we're also going to put in a smart shunt. The reason we're going to put that in, we have no way to monitor the battery status of the battery bank in the back of the 4Runner. None at all. We've just kind of been guessing. It actually kind of bit us on a long trip that we took. We did a week and a half long trip through the Lost Coast of California. And without being able to monitor the batteries, we had no idea the state of charge, and we had some pretty big failures, like going to cook dinner with an all-electric system, not driving for a few days, and then realizing that the system is dead, which is why the stove's not working. We had issues like that pop up a lot on that trip. So not being able to see how much battery power you have, not being able to charge the system while you're stationary was a big problem. Let's get started installing this, because to be honest, I've never done something this in-depth before with the system, even though it looks simple. It's, I don't know. I mean, if you're like me, you're just kind of a home gamer, some of this stuff is daunting, and you just have to kind of get over it, if I'm honest with you. And that's what I'm working on. I'm just trying to get over it for myself. Trying to get over it so I can get this done so that we can go on a trip soon. We want to go run to Saline Valley, I think, and have, have a little camp trip with the family, because it's been a while. It's been a while since we've done just a camp trip ourselves, and we feel like we need to get out. But to be honest, I don't want to have to be concerned about battery power the whole time we're there, and I just don't want to think about anything. I like not thinking about things. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do the smart thing. We're going to disconnect the power here so that we don't electrocute ourselves. So we got that disconnected. If you guys don't know what this is basically, I think it's an MBRP, something like that. It's by Bojack. It's a special fuse. So this is a 40 amp fuse. We're also going to upgrade that to a 60 amp fuse. The cabling I do have will support that. It's 6 gauge. 6 gauge from here all the way to the back. Everything's good up here. I think taking the positive off will be just fine. I'm going to get all this goo off my hands. Now the second part of this that we're going to do, I'm probably going to skip through this section, I think, because it's just going to kind of be a lot of undoing what I already installed, which did work just fine. Just we're going a little bit different route. And I do have to say, I did make a mistake. Well, I made a few mistakes, actually. My biggest mistake, I think, is not that the Renogy DC-DC charger is bad. I didn't think ahead. I thought I could run with this 20 amp charger, which is quite low for this big of a battery bank. It takes quite a long time to charge it up. We're talking, 10 hours minimum, probably more like 12 to get a complete charge. And I didn't think about solar through enough to design the cabinet to be able to fit everything. Ooh, that's really tight. Oh, no, we're good. There's a lot of things that could go wrong here and hurt me with all this power. And if you're like a normal person, which maybe I am, maybe I'm not, messing with battery power to this extent is a little scary. Positives back here, which is even more of a problem. And it's because it's so tight. But I think I can get my ratcheting wrench back here, and I think I can make this work. I just got to remember to do the positives first and then connect the negatives together. Only because the way the batteries are, the way the batteries are in there. And by doing it that way, I'm less likely to put the wrench between the terminals and shock the ever-living junk out of myself. That is pretty much disconnected. Just go about undoing all of this mess, because it is indeed a mess here. All right, there's all that mess. Well, let's actually, that does not look, that got really hot and melted at some point. So we're not gonna, I don't think we're gonna do that. I think we're gonna rethink that. I don't know why that would have gotten so hot. I don't know what I would run through that, but we're gonna replace that and rethink that in the going forward. Okay, let's see. Let's see, I fix it. Are you small enough to do this? This should give you guys a lot of confidence, because if I can do it, really anyone can do it. This is one of those situations where I'm just so out of my league when it comes to this wiring. It's worked pretty good for a long time, but it's just not enough anymore. When we're moving to full electric style camping, so we run a full electric stove and a kettle and all sorts of goodness, because it's a lot of fun with the battery system, but you need a way to recover what you use, and having to run the vehicle every time you run something really sucks. We can get about 2 days of use out of this bank with everything that we run. That's showers every day, that's cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner with a stove and a kettle. And it's doing all that good stuff, but the other problem with that is, right, okay, so let's say 2 days in your battery bank, it's really low by then. We're talking, that's probably close to zero. Well, that means the third day, we have to do 12 hours plus of driving to get this thing to 100%. 4 hours won't do with this 20 amp charger. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask, especially with a, a 1-year-old now, because, oh, how am I gonna, can I just, see, and I put this in a way it's so hard to figure out what I'm actually even actually doing. I have to do everything blind. It's down there somewhere. I need one of those flexy things. That's what I need. Let's see. Oh, will that be better if it just falls down like that? Will that make my life easier? Oh yeah, that's gonna. Question for you guys: when you're doing work like this, and like you're looking, well, you can't look, and you're just trying to fill. Do you ever do this strange thing where you just stare off in some random direction as you fill with your fingers? Like right now, how we're staring off. I'm trying to get this thing to attach to the screw so I can unscrew it. But I'm staring at my ceiling where my dog rides, and there's like tons of dog hair back here. You guys ever do that? Close your eyes and pretend you don't have eyes, because it doesn't matter if you do right now. Can I just rip it out? What if I just break the screw off in the wood? Would that be better? Of course. Too good. Okay, let's try a screwdriver. Maybe this one. Maybe this I can... I don't know. This is gonna be like... It's gonna be like 2 hours of YouTube of you guys just watching me trying to get one screw out. Oh. Oh. Did I get it? I got it. Oh, I got it. Okay. Sweet. We can take this out. And now we can undo that whole shebang there. Oh no. Dang it. Okay, well that's undone. Okay. Now you can see the size difference here. Also, this thing has fans. And when it's really, when the batteries are real low, these fans are loud for inside the vehicle. Like when it has to do a lot of work, it's pretty loud. And when you have a baby in the back seat, you wonder if it's going to wake them up. And look at this. So 20 amp DC-DC charger, right? 40 amp dual input DC-DC charger. Just look at how much space we're saving and how much more simple we're making this. And I like simple. So that's out of there. That's all cleaned up. I think what we need to do now is figure out how we're going to mount this. So they recommend it to go vertically. Hold on, I got to make sure those are actually disconnected, because that 6 gauge straight to the battery kind of scares me. Yeah, we're not. Okay, we're good. Let's see. So, hold on. We have to mount the Smart Shunt in the way that makes sense. I'm kind of thinking right to the battery here. So, when you're wiring up the shunt, my understanding is you want your battery negative to come directly to this thing. So I have 2 here, 2 battery negatives right to here. And then your load and everything that runs off your system goes into the other side minus of this. So all the negatives essentially are going to run into this. I'll show you. It'll make sense as we start going. But first, we have to figure out on the doo-doo charger, how far back do we want to put it? Do we want to put it far enough back to where, I mean, I want to be able to reach it. So we'll go over it real quick. So not only does this take dual inputs and then charge the battery system, which is really nice, but it has one really nice thing. And I mean, it can do all your main battery types, obviously, but it has a reverse charge feature, which means if my main battery in the vehicle dies for whatever reason, and I press the reverse charge, it'll actually take charge out of the batteries here in the back bank and send it to the front battery to charge that. So you could conceivably send charge to the front battery, charge it up, and then start your vehicle, which that is a pretty neat thing. So I want to be able to hit that. At the same time though, I want to give myself space here in case I change things up in this cabinet. I guess right there is going to be pretty okay. You know what? Let's see if I can get screws into it. That'll be the deciding factor. Okay, what I'm trying to do here is foresee how many problems I'm going to have. And I don't foresee any. Hindsight is 20/20, of course, but I don't see a problem now, so we're just going to go for it. So we're going to screw this whole thing in. Maybe. I got 2 of the 6. That's good, right? Okay. All right. So we got a few in there. I think for good measure, we're just going to put this one in there cockeyed. Okay. All 6 are in there. That's not going nowheres. What is this? Is that marshmallow?
Yeah. Homemade marshmallow.
Oh, that's really good. That's really tasty. That's real good. So is that going in my hot chocolate? Ooh. I'm just going to say right now, it's okay to be jealous that my wife is making me hot chocolate with homemade marshmallows and not making it for you. It's okay. It's all right. Okay, so here's what I think we're going to do. I think we're going to just double-sided sticky tape this thing down. We're just going to go like that. I guess we could do battery minus. We're just going to have one cable that goes up over here, or we go like this. Though I do like using double-sided tape, I'm not going to lie. It's pretty simple. Maybe well, okay, let's see if I've got screws that'll work. Same length. Oh, here's one that's longer. We could just do that. That would be a dealio. Will that guy fit? Do I have 2 of those? No. I'll have to, well, it will. Well, we could see if that works. If not, we'll do both, actually. We'll do tape and screws. How about that? Did I just make a mistake doing that? Probably. Because now I'm going to have to get my driver down in there. Not going anywhere. Now, I think we just start hooking. I think we kind of start hooking everything up. We'll leave all the positives undone for reasons. Maybe. Hold on, we got to do. Let's see, what's this? So that one's going to go to the battery. So we have to run both of those to the battery, which is fine. Input solar, input here. So those actually, those minus, well, this one's got to come next. So we'll do that one next. Let me think about this, actually. We'll do this one next because we're going to need all the ground wires in one spot so that we can do everything together. Why does it look like so few wires in here? Man, it looks way cleaner for some reason. I don't know what I did. It'd be pretty cool, actually. Be pretty cool if we could. Where's the solar one? Solar. Be pretty neat if we can, like, screw that there. We need to now make up some wires and use one of these guys. So I've never done this before. We're going to figure it out together. And we're going to figure out what we're doing. So these are Anderson connectors. Hopefully this is big enough. And we're going to run some of this 6-gauge wire. And we're going to try to be sparing with this. Let's cut a little off. All right, some of that jacket is off now. And let's see, this does not look like it's going to fit. Oh, that'll fit. Perfect. Okay. Now, I've never done this before, but what I'll say is, I did some reading, and apparently you have to have a special crimper for Anderson connectors, because they're a bare crimp. There's no sheathing on them. So I had to get this guy, which is supposedly really good at crimping these things. Supposedly. We're going to find that out right now. This was really cheap, though. This was not expensive. I have hydraulic crimpers and everything, but apparently the hydraulic crimpers don't do a great job. And this is a ratcheting crimper too, so that's kind of cool. So what we're going to do is, you know, the one thing that I don't like, non-insulated, that's what it is. But the numbers on here are weird. I don't know how they correlate, if I'm honest with you. So I guess I'm just going to find the one that fits the best, which would be that one. And we're just going to hold it in there like so. Okay, like so. And then we're going to get this kind of set in there nicely. Okay. And we're just going to crimp. That does a really good job. I'm not going to lie. That was real easy to crimp it. Maybe do we double crimp, you think? Okay, I feel like that's not going anywhere. Yeah, that's a really nice crimper. And it doesn't feel like you have to double crimp, but of course I'm going to, because what is overkill? There we go. So from my understanding is we just poke these jobbies in there. I think they go like that. Maybe they go like this. No, they'll have to go like that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty simple. And then, oh, but leave it me to do it backwards. All right, let's see. Now we're going to have to figure out, or rather, now we get to figure out, can you take these apart after you do it, or did I just kind of mess myself up? Maybe you can push that down. Oh, look at that. That's super cool. Okay, that does release it. So there's a little tab right here. You may not be able to see it. Once you just get the tab down, it releases the wire and it can come out. So now we're going to put it on this side correctly. Okay, that's good and done. Now this side. All right. And there we have that. So now we'll come over here. We'll mark what we need to do, because one of this side's going to have to go to the battery and one's going to have to go to the shunt, which means this guy right here. So that's going to go there like so. And then this guy is a charger. So he's going to go up like that. How am I going to route this? Maybe. So this guy's going to come over here like this. And this guy is going to go to the positive. So we'll and I find, let me give you guys a tip here. So obviously these are different lengths because we're not putting another Anderson connector on this side. Let me give you a tip here with working with bigger cables. I've done this a few times now, like not this particular setup, but working with big cables for batteries and just doing things. Let me give you a little bit of a tip. Get yourself cable cutters, not the little tiny wire cutters like this. Don't get, I mean, those will work on some cables, but don't rely on like these guys or the little snips for finer wires. When you're working with this stuff, you need real cable cutters, something that you can do this, slip it in there and really crank on it. And these guys, they're awesome. These are Klein's, made in USA. They're great. They clip this stuff real good, and we can go way bigger cables with that. This is 6 gauge, but we can go way bigger. I've done 2 gauge with it without too much of a problem, honestly. Okay, so that was good. We didn't make any mistakes there. We're good. Now we can do, uh-oh, I think we did make a mistake. Hold on. I have a feeling, what's this red one? Oh, red one is DC input. Okay, no. See, look, I'm confusing myself for no reason. Now what we can do is we can start crimping this stuff together. So the question is, do I want to use my hydraulic crimpers, or do I just want to keep using, I don't even know what I'm doing. What am I doing? Okay. What is this? 4 and 6 gauge. Do I want to use my hydraulic crimpers, or will that work? I don't think that'll work. I think that's too tiny. Ow. Oh, that will not work. Okay. That will not work. What's this one? Is this one 6? That's 4. Is this 6? That's 4. Those won't work, but this will probably work. What's this guy? 6 by 5/16. These are probably also too small. Oh, maybe they're not. I'd rather use these ones. These ones are nicer than what I got. Oh yeah, we're using those. Okay, make sure we get everything all lined up. Okay. That will go on just fine. Now, will this work for these even? Oh, indeed, they will. Now I got another cool tool to show you guys, and I'm messing around with it, and I haven't done anything crazy with it yet, so this will be a first real test. But I picked it up yesterday, and I just thought, this is going to be real handy to have around the garage. And get a battery here. It's a Harbor Freight heat gun. Go with my Harbor Freight batteries that I already have, and I thought, well, you know what? Since I'm doing all this work with battery cables and all that such, a battery-powered heat gun that I can take with me to do all the heat shrinking on everything would be pretty slick. So let's see if it can do this. Probably gonna take a minute to heat up. It's getting there. It's just one heat I like. Simple, pull the trigger, go. Oh, that's doing the job. Yeah, that's doing the job. This is way better than a lighter. There we go. Now we're getting some heat into her. Usually I just do this kind of like with a lighter or whatever torch is hanging around. And this is, yeah, this is way more better. There's one feature about this gun that I don't like. It's that, one, you have to press this lock and then pull the trigger. And then there's no lock-on feature. So I might just put a zip tie around it that I can slide on and off. So that I can set this on the bench and just do it one-handed. So that's what it needs. It needs the ability to lock the trigger on. Oh yeah, that works. That's fantastic. That's great. New favorite tool, because it's new and I'm using it. And that worked so incredibly well. There we go. Look at that. Super nice. Super, super nice. So we got output. Okay, output. This is great. All right. Output from here. And we're going to have to figure out how to kind of... Maybe we should mount it. Might just mount it there, actually. Okay, so we have that. And this is going to run up to the positive side there. Something like that. Or I'll back this around... like that is probably what I'll do. That seems good, because I don't need to access this one very much, honestly. And that's going to give me room to attach it there, so we're good. And then this guy is going to give me room to kind of make it neater and go like that, which is great. Okay, so we have that one down. Let's see. So on the negative side, do we have the negative stuff done? This is going to go to here. Don't have to touch that. This is solar. Don't have to touch that right now. So we have this guy, which is from the inverter. So we're going to go, actually we're going to do this way. So we got this little one, which is from the fridge. So we got the fridge DC. We got the inverter. No. We got this guy. And then we got the inverter. And the reason I'm doing it this way is I personally think the inverter out of everything has the ability to draw the most power. So we're going to put the inverter on the bottom. I think is how you're supposed to do it. Unsure though. If I'm doing something wrong, let me know in the comments below. I like to learn. So we're gonna leave that handy like that for just a minute. I think that's all the grounds in my system. Is that true? Positive, positive, positive. We're not going to use that right now. This will have to be added on because I'll have to get a new one and fix that. That's it. Okay. We can keep going now. So the next thing we got to do is we got to go from here to here. Neatly, hopefully. Oh, shit.
I'm not a smart man.
Alright, well, a trip to the hospital, stitches, and a cup of homemade hot chocolate with homemade marshmallows later. Oh, that's really good. And I'm going to give myself a minute, and we'll come back to this after I metaphorically lick my wound. This project literally has my blood, sweat, and tears at this point. You are a dangerous little thing, you. So where were we? We were getting ready to put all the positives on together. I think that's what we're going to do. And that might be a little difficult for me now, especially in that tight space. So I'm going to do what I can, because I don't know what I can do. So of course, the other problem is I can't really see in there. Well, luckily, the only good thing I can say about this is this will be the hardest connection. The other ones will be a smidge easier. Being a thumb down really sucks. I don't know if you guys knew that. Okay, I'm there. But now I gotta... I'm guessing right now if this is going in. Doesn't really feel like it's doing anything, if I'm honest with you. Oh, we got it. Okay, I don't want to make it too tight because I got to rearrange things in there. Clean them all up. This one should be easier for me. I can pretty much do this one one-handed because I don't have to hold so much stuff together. Maybe. There we go. Gotcha. Okay, that's tight. I keep these little caps on there for safety, so that if I'm reaching in here and doing things with tools, I have less of a chance of touching the terminals there, but they're kind of a pain to get to. I promise, once we get this kind of closer to completion, this will all make sense. I don't remember if I did a good job explaining what was going on. I probably didn't, in light of what happened. That's okay. We have the power to fix that. I might actually, let's see. Okay. I think this show has gone from instructional to watching a guy with a bunged up finger fiddle around to see if he can actually complete this. I think that's what we've turned into at this point. So the way this has to work is I need these right here. These little wires go on the batteries in order for this thing to get power and to sense what's going on. It's how it does it. It's part of the system. This needs to be there. Like a dummy, I was excited that I got that bolt on back there. So now we're going to have to undo all my hard work and try to fish one more wire back there. Unless I just do it on this battery and call that good. Now, everything hard should be done. Back to what I was saying. So, this wire here, yep. Okay. So, this wire here goes to this battery, and the other wire is going to go to this battery. I'm doing it that way because the negative for everything's on this battery, the positive for everything's on this battery. So, okay, hold on. Let me back up. So we have these two wires. One of these powers the Smart Shunt and also tells you the overall voltage and percentage of your battery bank, the state of charge that you have. The second wire here allows you to do auxiliary things. It can measure midpoint. You can measure a totally second battery, like if you want to measure your starter battery or whatever. You can just do other things with it. This wire is on the whole bank. So it's on this battery here, and the Smart Shunt is here, connected here. So this one is going to measure the whole bank. We're putting this wire on the second battery because it's aux. And aux is programmable for the midpoint that we want to hopefully do. So we're just going to take this, poke this in here, like so. Smart Shunt has power, and then we're going to take this guy, we're going to poke this one. Let's see how. Yeah, they're tangled. We're gonna clean all this up, I promise. And we're gonna take this one or put that one in there, like so. That's done. Let me download the Smart Shunt app, and we'll see what it's reading right now because we got to do some programming. So we have to put a pin in that's on the thing. Well, it connects pretty fast. All right, now we got to do some setup, and I don't know how to do any of this, so I'm just gonna figure it out. Let's see, we got to set up. So there's a firmware update for the actual Smart Shunt, not the app. That's pretty cool. We'll let that run for a minute. Midpoint deviation. I wonder. All right, to double check myself, because midpoint's not working, it's saying it's 100%, which means if that were accurate, one of the batteries would be dead. Now, it could be dead. I've killed them a few times, so I could have a battery that's not working. So to do that, I'm just going to untie one of the batteries, since it's easy right here. And we're just going to measure. Okay, so what are we getting there? 13.999, so 14 volts. And then, okay, same exact voltage. So the midpoint in my system, I'm not sure how to make this work, so we're just not going to use it. I'm just going to disable it in the app. I'm going to leave it connected for the future, but in the app, we're just not going to use it. Can't really tell you why that's not working, except maybe because my battery configuration and because I have, you know, I don't know. If you know more about this Victron Smart Shunt and you know how I can fix this issue, if it means I move this wire to the negative side of this battery, that'd be fine. Maybe it's because I'm not using bus bars, and maybe it's because of how I have the battery tied together and all that stuff. I don't know. If I figure it out, I'll do an update and let you know, but I don't right now is the problem. So, okay, let's do a little bit of cleanup here and get this all kind of tidied, and then we'll continue. All right. Okay. That's pretty tidy. Good enough for me. Now these guys, these things. I need this, and we're gonna need this, and this, and this. And the danger guy. I'm gonna need the danger guy. Oh, and I need my battery, my cable clippers. This time, I won't cut towards my thumb. As I cut towards my thumb. Because these are going to the main battery, I'm going to do this. Give myself a little added security in case something goes wrong. Though I do have it fused, but you know. My family does ride in this thing. Negative into the negative side. Negative, positive. All right. Let's now see. Okay, perfect. Those are connected. I'll probably end up screwing that down. Now, besides cleaning up, last thing we have to do is the solar panel, I think. I think we're there. Here is what I went with. I went with 30 feet of wire. Now, my ultimate goal eventually is I'll run a plug on the outside of the vehicle, and we can just plug this in, but I wanted 30 feet so that we could take this panel, plug it into here, and then run it way away from the vehicle. So if we're camped under the shade or where we're at, we don't have to really move this around. And that's why I wanted a portable panel, so I didn't have to park this in the sun. That way, if we have a rooftop tent or whatever we're doing, the vehicle can be 30 feet from the panels. Set that down there. I'm thinking, I don't have, because I didn't think about Oh, what's in my nose? My beard? My beard is in my nose? Get on my nose, beard. Okay, I'm thinking about one. Can I fit 2 wires in this piece? Let me see here. Ooh, I can. Okay, let me see. Maybe I'll just slip this piece and this piece down. So I don't have a whole lot of this stuff left. So what we'll do is we'll slip it down like that. And this connection is going to go inside the vehicle. So I'm not really worried about it being waterproof for now. And in the future, I can always kind of fix it. And we'll zip tie the rest. So main thing is, are these connections right here, are those long enough? See, the one thing about the Anderson connectors that I didn't realize until I got all these red ones is that what one ought to do is buy like a variety pack of these Anderson connectors, because the colors, so I didn't realize this. When you have Anderson connectors, the colors mean something. Anderson connectors are all universal, except grays only go with grays, reds only go with reds, blues and yellows. They only connect to their respective colors. And I didn't know that, so I ordered a bunch of reds, but luckily what I did do is I ordered a bunch of size of these little terminals here. Yeah, that'll work, but I need to strip my wire off. And so I just kind of got lucky on that front. Now that I know that, what I would probably do is I would probably buy... Is this big enough? Does this go high enough gauge? Kinda. Yeah, it goes 10 gauge. What I would probably... Oh, no. Okay. What I would probably end up doing is buying a few of each color, and then what I would do is I would just buy a bunch of these little terminal dealios there. That way you can have an assortment is what I would go for. Ugh. There we go. Now what I think I'll do is I'll heat this up here. That'll help keep that part of the wire together. You know, this really wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, but me definitely cutting myself kind of threw me off my game. I'll be honest with you. Kind of threw me for a loop, and now it's been a day later, and I don't really know where I was at, what I was doing. So, yeah. But this heat gun works good, though. I mean, my thumb doesn't work, but the heat gun works. It's good enough to melt this really, really thick. This heat shrink is actually really thick, and it's the good kind. It has the glue in it, so it actually seals stuff, which is why I'm wasting it right here. Yeah. So I think what we'll do is we'll take this piece and just wait, hold on a second here. What we'll do actually is, hey, who said you could come off there? Go grab a pack of these zip ties, and we'll just kind of zip tie it as we go, making ourselves one nice cable. If I had thought more about it, I would have put some sort of protective thingy around this, and I would probably do different cable. I probably wouldn't do this stuff. Oh, gosh. I probably wouldn't do this stuff because it's not very flexible. Even though it has MC4 connectors on it, I like nice flexible cable. This is not. Though this is really protective, which is nice. Also, these zip ties really suck. I'm not dealing with the zip ties. Where's my electrical tape? We're just going to tape it. Here you go, electrical tape. And when this becomes a problem, then I'll do something else. But electrical tape. There we go. Look at that. This is the one-handed man's best friend right here. Maybe I should be saying the one-thumbed man's best friend. Let's see. I need to hook this on something actually. Yeah. Hey, if it doesn't work well for a solar cable for my panel, I can always just use it as a rope. There we go. That's what I need. There we go. That's what I needed. You don't need to worry about having a thumb, especially when you have electrical tape. Like the easiest part of my day right here. Though some sheathing would be nice. I'm probably going to order some sheathing. And just help keep these together. I guess it'd be better if you got like two in one wire, you know, and then you can just flexible though. I actually, if I had thought about it, I would have gotten 10 gauge from like the auto parts store, because that stuff is super flexible. I mean, this stuff will wind up nice, but the battery cable type stuff is just so flexible. It's so nice. This stuff is clearly not. And having flexible cable, I think, it's starting to straighten out now. This is a lot of cable. Maybe I didn't need 30 feet. Well, but there's no overkill, right? Okay, let's see. Now, I can just kind of continue. Hopefully you guys are liking this video. I hope so. I put a lot of work into this stuff. A lot of time, effort, money. And, I mean, some of the stuff comes out good. Some of the stuff doesn't. This one's kind of probably hit or miss, considering I maimed myself. You know, and this stuff that I do is just, it's real life. It's what happens, right? None of us are actually like the professionals when we're working out of our garage. We don't have perfect anything. And yeah, I mean, I could do things differently. I could do things, quote, more professional, but I'm not a professional. I'm just a guy in a garage with some cars, and some tools. That's who I am. And if that's you, well, then this channel is probably about perfect for you, because we just kind of figure things out. We're just figuring it all out together. I don't know. Of course, I do a little reading. Of course, I do a little research ahead of time. But you know what? I've never done this before, and most people haven't. When you haven't done something before, you run into a lot of issues. And I would say that this go around, we've run into our fair amount of issues on this this video, for sure. I'm going to give myself room at the end here. I'm not going to go all the way with this when I'm tying them together. The reason being is, if I want to hook other panels other than the one that I have or something, I don't know. I want some room at the end to work with in case, I don't know, in case, like, I just want room at the end. It just makes sense to have a little bit of room at the end to manipulate the cables. When things are too tight, especially with thicker cables, it becomes really difficult to use. And I don't like difficult. Even though I make everything I have difficult on myself, I still don't like it. So the last thing I think we have to do, actually, is put in the new fuse. Because remember, it's still disconnected under the hood. And what I can tell you is that was a really big mistake. And I had to rerun the wire. And I went all the way to 6 gauge. Just to kind of future-proof things and give me some headroom on the wire. But basically, 10 gauge was not thick enough for the distance of the run that I ran and the amount of power I was pulling through it. 10 gauge was barely on the edge for the 20 amps. Now, it should have worked by all means. So the problem comes is not just the distance, it's also the heat. I have heat in here, and the 20 amp charger can pull a lot of voltage. So what I was doing was I actually had a fuse here, a 20 amp fuse, just kind of one of those inline jobbies, and it blew that. And then I did I upgraded that fuse to a 40 amp fuse. It blew the 40 amp fuse, but it also melted the entire inline connector completely. And so when it melted that inline connector, I realized that, okay, that inline fuse holder deal was not rated for the amount of voltage that I was putting through it. So we went to this. We went to these style fuses, which way more better. And not only did I do that, but we also went all the way to 6 gauge. That way, if we ran a bigger charger, which we are right now, or whatever, I have 0 issues. And we should have 0 issues with this now. Now we should have everything we need to run. So, I think that's it. Look at these. I even got these cute little plugs so that you could take this and you could plug the in so you don't get junk inside your little, like, inside here. See? Check this out. This is adorable. So, like, for these, right, because this will be unplugged, I even got this little plug. So this will go like this, like that, and then I got one for the other side too. And really what I want to do is they make a trailer plug version that's sealed that goes on the outside, but it was like 3 months out on ordering. So we'll probably do an upgrade one day where I actually run the connector for this cable on the outside with that. But for now, we're just going to run it like this. What we'll probably end up doing to run on the outside of the vehicle, you're probably wondering, is I'll just probably fish it through one of the windows. I have these things, so I'll probably just do something like that. Just go under the window. If it's really bad weather, then there's no reason to have the solar panel out during really bad weather anyway. All right, here's what I think we do. We're gonna fire up the inverter. Gonna put a load on the batteries since we need some sort of load. Hey, look, it says we're using 13 watts just having this idle, so we'll put a little bit bigger load actually. Okay, so we're pulling 40 watts now. 3 amps. That is really cool that you can see that. You have about 8 days running it like this. 7, it's calculating. All right. Let that pull for a little bit. And then I think let's just go, we'll just take the phone now. Let's start the vehicle. And let's see if we can see something change. Oh, we have power coming in. You can see it's positive now. So that's cool. So like this, time remaining is indefinite, but we're not consuming anything. It's telling us how much power we have coming in. It's backing down because the batteries are becoming full. So this has reverse charging, like we said. So you press a button, you can reverse charge your vehicle, which is actually really nice. What I'm trying to figure out is how to set them. So long press the select button to enter the battery type selection. What they mean is long press gets you into the menu, then you short press to make your selection, then you long press again to confirm it. Duh. Okay. Okay, that's good. So now we have it set to lithium. We're still burning off some power so we can test things. Yeah, we're charging at about 5 amps, basically recouping what we've been using and what we are using at the moment with that light on back there. Okay, now I don't have much sunlight left, so I don't know if this is going to work, but we're just going to run the panels out real quick and test it out. I don't know if we're going to collect any power at all because I don't have the sun hitting any part of these panels. So we might have to test it tomorrow. But let's pull our little plug out. We'll pull this plug out. Kind of shoot these guys together. Here to here. And here to here. Let's go see if we're making any power. Yeah, no. None whatsoever. It's too dark. Makes sense. Okay, we're going to come back tomorrow and we'll test these things out. All right. So things are clean. Well, they're not cleaned here. But things are definitely cleaned up in the Forerunner. And we went for a little drive just to see, make sure everything's charging correctly. And it's all working good. Plus, the little one got to go for a ride. He loves rides and he got to fall asleep. And we traveled around for a bit, so that was kind of fun. But now what I think we need to do is we need to drain some of the battery power. One, we'll be actually able to test the app appropriately. And two, then we'll be able to throw the solar panel out and see it actually charge the system. Because you can't charge a system that's already full. So, here's what I think we should do. Just a simple test here. We're going to pull out our kettle. And the wind, like, it came out of nowhere. It's the story of my life. So, we're out here in almost hurricane force winds. It's supposed to gust up to 60 miles an hour. Ugh. Oh, ow, that thing is sensitive. Okay. So what we're gonna do is I think we're just gonna boil a little water. Perfect. All right. We really like this thing, by the way. We've used it a lot. It does everything for us incredibly well. So, and it's fast. I mean, I will say that you can get faster gas stoves, that's for sure. But not having to burn any fuel or carry any fuel with you and just making sure you have battery power. It's really nice and really convenient. Okay, we're going to pull up the app first. We're going to see the state of charge we're at. And then hopefully we'll be able to see how much juice we're actually pulling. So you can see it says we're 100%. Battery pack is sitting at 13.6 volts. That's pretty full. Flip the inverter on. Should see a small draw. Yep. Okay. Inverter's got a small draw on it. And now plug that in, and we're going to hit go. Actually, this is a good test too. Out of a 200 amp hour battery pack, boiling enough water to make 2 cups of coffee, one for me, one for my wife. How much power does it actually take? So we're gonna let this run, and we'll come back here in a minute, and then we'll get the solar panel going. All right, let's see where we're at. Oh, we're definitely boiling, so let's kill that. And now that it's off and everything is on idle, we'll let it recover a second. Looks like we consumed 6.7 amp hours roughly. And I mean, this is really cool, right? But yeah, so right now, with that, we used 4% of the battery to boil a few cups of water. That was pretty good. Now, let's hook up the solar panels and we'll recoup that. And we're going to have a better system here in the future for this. But what I did is I kind of wrapped it up with one of my little wraps here. And we got the panel. And it's kind of a rough day, but we'll make do. So I think we'll just go right here. I think that's how we'll do it. Let's see. All right. Just go like so. Get all that. Get all that done. And then what's really cool about this panel, one of the reasons I got it is I read it was a really high quality panel. But this guy, I've never seen a panel with that. So what that does is that dot, it's basically just a indicator of how spot on you are to the sun to get the most power you can. So you want that dot right in the center if you can. So we need to go kind of like that. That's perfect. I saw a lot of people using like a can trick or whatever to remove the shadow, and that is way better. Boy, everything I have is so hard to do when you don't have when you're down a thumb. Okay, so what we will be doing is we will be wiring this to an exterior plug. So you don't have to, so I don't have to do this. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of, for now, gonna leave that like that, and hopefully we have enough wire to go all the way around the rig. I guess I'm gonna have to figure out how to keep that up in the wind. Let's see, do I have enough? Oh, look at that. Okay, we have enough cable to do that. That's good. And now we need to redo this. So what I'm gonna have to have a way to kind of tie this down a little bit for when we go camping, when we go exploring. If it gets a little breezy, it can't be easily knocked over. Another thing that I also figured out is these connectors are a little rough to get undone. They actually make a tool, so I'm going to get that tool. And I have these little plugs that I ordered that keep the junk out of these so that they stay good. So that's good. But there's a little tool that helps you disconnect these. So okay, there we go. That's all plugged in, good to go. Hopefully that stays. I don't think it's going to. I'll wait for the gust. Now let's see, how much are we recovering? Oh, that's pretty good. So that's a 120 watt panel, and we're bringing in 113 watts on a winter day, windy, kind of set up in between the trees. I would say that's pretty dang good, actually. That's substantial. 8 amps. So one of the cool tricks about this system, the reason I built it, I'm going to step back here out of the wind a little bit. So one of the reasons I built it with such thick gauge wire, which is 10 gauge, you don't need to worry about the wind taking the boxes and throwing it against your neighbor's yard. Be alright. One of the reasons I built this cable so thick and everything, it's 8 gauge coming out of the charger, and this is 10 gauge, this 30-foot run. The reason I did that is so that we can actually hook 2 of those panels together. So I might grab a second set of those, because these things are really cheap for how well that's performing. I saw reviews where like some of these panels that you would get, they'd be 120 watt or 100 watt panel, and you get like 50 watts out of them. It's a 120 watt panel that's kind of like just sitting there with my tool bag and a log on the back, since we're having such high wind, and we're pulling in 10 watts shy of what's rated. That's pretty darn good. So I built this system to be able to handle 400 watts. We can hook a second panel here in this series, and ideally we could have I don't know, 220 watts coming in, so we could have 16 amps coming in to recharge this thing. And I don't know, 16 amps, that'd be pretty darn good. You take this stuff down with one thumb. This is kind of why I wanted the MC4 connector tool. Dealio. Might actually change out the end of these connectors altogether, if I'm honest with you. Let's see. Press and pull. Oh, that's not too hard. Oh, except this one. No, that's not hard. Okay, we can get over that. Alright, by the way, if you're looking at straps, this one's nice and it's durable, but I prefer these at this point. And I'll be getting some longer ones because that's not quite long enough, but yeah, those are way nicer. Alright, so review time, or what am I going to call this? We're going to call this lessons learned thing, something. Yeah, something like that. So 1, don't cut yourself, and the install will go much easier. That's lesson 1. Lesson 2, when you're building your electrical system on a rig like this, your overland rig, just kind of think ahead a little bit. Think on what you would like to be able to do. Build in a little extra capacity. Don't build in exactly what you need, because you'll probably grow. You'll grow. Your stuff will grow. The things you want to do will end up growing. So with that, just build in a little bit of extra capability. You don't have to go crazy, but just build in a little extra capability. That way, you're not caught off guard and you didn't waste a bunch of money. I did not do that to be honest. I thought that by putting this 20 amp charger in there, we'd be fine. And it does work. Don't get me wrong. This does work really, really well. Just our usage kind of outgrew that. And so I thought, well, to be honest, my previous thinking was I was going to do this first because it's all I had the money for. And then I'll put in a solar controller in addition. And you still could do that. Just my space was so constrained, I didn't have the room for these two things. By the way, I use this on another thing and it works really good. Renogy does make good stuff. I've had zero problems with any of their things. But I was just really space constrained. And the doo-doo charger, is just so small. It has a lot of features, makes things way easy. And you don't have to have solar with it. You can just charge from the vehicle and charge the batteries or whatever your system is calling for, and leave it like that. And then later on in the future, if you want to add a panel later on, you can. We just knew after our long trip kind of had some failures with our battery situation. We kind of knew that, okay, we do want to add solar, so that's what I was going to do in this video. But clearly I misjudged a few things. So just kind of think about ahead of time what you want to do. That's all I can say. Think about ahead of time what you want to do. That way you're not caught off guard. And I don't know. I mean, so the 7 P's, as Zip Ties and Biplies calls it, right? 7 P's. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Yeah, I didn't do that. And so we had poor performance, but we fixed it and we got there, and now we're performing pretty good, I would think. The only thing that I want to change about my setup is I will order that exterior plug, and we'll do an exterior plug on the 4Runner, so we don't have to have doors open and go inside and do things, and you can just have an exterior waterproof plug and just right into it. That'll be the better way to go, I think. A little bit more wiring, but we don't have to undo anything we've already done on the batteries because we're going from that Anderson connector that we already plugged the solar into, from that to an exterior plug. So it's just more wire, and I'll probably run 8 gauge wire is what I'll probably do. Only because, I don't know, just because. I guess I could run 10 gauge. 10 gauge would be easier to run, actually. Maybe I'll just get some more 10 gauge and run 10. That would be a lot easier. Probably not this stuff, though. That stuff's really hard to run inside the vehicle. Not very flexible. This stuff right here, if I was going to redo this, the stuff I ordered for the panels is really nice, but this stuff right here is way more flexible. Probably not as durable, but it's not sitting outside all the time. And whereas this kind of stuff, it's so inflexible and unwieldy that it's not that useful. It's not that useful. So what am I going to do with these? I guess I'll keep those. But you don't have to be a what am I going to say? You don't have to be a crazy pre-planner. You don't have to think about every single scenario in order to make this work, if I'm honest with you. Just think about how you would like to use your system, what your most common use is going to be, and then and go from there. And you'll be totally fine. You'll be good. That solar panel is kick butt, I'll tell you what. I mean, the fact that it pulled in that much power, just like haphazardly set up on my lawn, held down by like a tool bag, is pretty good. That's really good, actually. Way better than everything else that I saw online that people were doing with them. So I'm really happy about that. I'm so happy about that. I actually will go up and when I get the funds, I'm going to order a second one for us. And they pack so small, you know, they're so easy to set up. They pack so small. You just got to figure out a way to anchor them down if you're kind of in a windy area. And they are waterproof, which is great. But yeah, they're so small and they fold up easy. They're light. You can get Y adapters so that when you go to plug it in, if you want to plug multiple panels in, just get an adapter and you can plug multiple up, which is what I plan to do. And this thing is really good. I really like that. That is staying in there for sure. And if you guys have made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate it, by the way. It means a lot to me that you guys watch these videos. I put a lot of work into them, and this stuff is just kind of stuff I do on my own, and I like sharing it with you. But if you want to see this, if you want to see how we stay warm in a tent in all weather conditions. And I don't mean like kind of warm. I mean we stay nice and cozy. I mean the wife even stays warm, which is a lot to be said because she's a bit of a lizard. But if you'd like to see warm, I'll give you a hint. It has to do with this electrical plug. I'll give you that hint. And if you want to see a video on how we do it, let me know in the comments below or leave a like on the video or something. Just let me know. And the next time we go out, I'll shoot you a video showing how we do it with minimal gear and just how nice it actually is. You know what? I kind of think that's enough cleaning for now. Yeah, that's enough cleaning for now. I'm gonna go inside and baby this thing for a little while now. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. If you got any questions, put the comments below. I'll try to do better next time. Hopefully I won't cut my digits off. And yeah, maybe we'll take this out on a venture and give it a real test and see what we can do now that we can recharge without having to start the vehicle. And we can bring in more power when we do run so the batteries are recharged. So yeah. All right, guys. See you next video.